भोगे रोगभयं कुले च्युतिभयं वित्ते नृपालाद्भयं माने दैन्यभयं बले रिपुभयं रूपे जराया भयम् शास्त्रे वादभयं गुणे खलभयं काये कृतान्ताद्भयं सर्वं वस्तुभयान्वितं भुवि नृणां वैराग्यमेवाभयम्.
Today we sit with what may be the most famous verse ever written about fear. A verse by Bhartrhari, the king who walked away from his own throne. Listen to it first, slowly. Bhoge rog bhayam, kule chuti bhayam, vitte nripalad bhayam, mane dainya bhayam, bale ripu bhayam, रूपे जराया भयम शास्त्रे वादा भयम गुणे खाल भयम काये कृतांताद भयम सर्वं वस्तु भयान्वितं भुवि नृणां वैराग्यम एव अभयम. In pleasure there is fear of disease. In noble family, fear of its fall. In wealth, fear of the king. In honor, fear of humiliation. In strength, fear of enemies. In beauty, fear of old age. In learning, fear of the debater who may defeat you. Even in virtue, fear of the wicked. And in the body itself, fear of death. Everything on this earth, says Bhartrhari, comes soaked in fear. Detachment, vairagya, alone is fearlessness. Now, who is saying this? Not a beggar consoling himself. Tradition remembers Bhartrhari as a king of Ujjain, brother of the great Vikramaditya. He had every single thing on this list: the pleasures, the pedigree, the treasury, the honor, the armies, the beauty around him, and profound learning too, for he may also be the Bhartrhari who wrote India's greatest philosophy of language. This verse comes from his Vairagya Shataka, his 100 verses on dispassion. So, this is a hostile witness, a man testifying against his own kingdom from inside it. The legend says a sage once gave him a fruit of immortality. He gave it lovingly to his queen. She, in love with another man, passed it on. And through a chain of hidden loves, the fruit travelled full circle and landed back in the king's own hand. In that moment, he saw everything. That the very things we hold for security can circle back as betrayal, and he left the palace. Now listen to how the verse is built, because the construction carries the teaching. In Sanskrit, Bhartrhari uses the locative case again and again. Bhoge in pleasure, vitte in wealth, mane in honor. Fear is not something that attacks your possessions from outside. Fear lives inside them. It moves in the day you acquire them, like a co-tenant you never invited. The word bhayanvitam literally means followed by fear. Fear follows each possession the way a shadow follows a body. And notice the ladder he climbs. He starts with the obvious things: pleasure, family status, money. Fine, you say, those are external. So I'll retreat to my honor, my strength. But honor lives in other people's minds, which you cannot control. And strength simply manufactures rivals. All right, I'll retreat to what is truly mine, my beauty, my knowledge. But beauty has a built-in clock called jara, old age. And knowledge lives in an arena where a sharper opponent always exists. Then comes the cruelest line, Gune khala bhayam. Even in virtue, fear of the wicked. Even if you are simply, quietly good, your goodness will attract the envy of the khala, the slanderer. Bhartrhari refuses to let us believe that being good enough will keep us safe. And the final retreat, just my body, just being alive? Kaye kritantad bhayam. Kritanta means the ender of deeds. Death himself, the final auditor, holds the mortgage on the body too. There is nowhere left to hide. That is the point. The audit is exhaustive on purpose. And then the solution. And watch carefully what it is not. He does not say poverty is fearlessness. He does not say run to the forest. He says Vairagya. The word comes from raga, which literally means a dye, a coloring, from the root ranj, to color. Raga is the mind dyed by craving, stained by this is mine and I cannot lose it. Vairagya is the decoloring of the mind. The objects can stay in your hands. What leaves is the grip. And the reward is named with one of the most sacred words in all the Upanishads, Abhayam, fearlessness. The Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, fear arises only from a second, from the split between me and the thing I might lose. Close that split and fear has no address left. You have lived this verse, by the way. Every promotion that brought insomnia along with the raise. Every new car parked nervously at the far end of the lot. Every success followed by the whisper, now they'll expect this every time. Modern psychology confirms the mathematics. Researchers found that losses hurt roughly twice as much as equivalent gains feel good. So every acquisition literally enlarges the surface area of your fear. The Buddha said it plainly. From what is dear, fear is born. The Stoic Seneca said the man of great fortune needs a second fortune just to guard the first. Bhartrhari says it in one line, Sarvam Vastu Bhayanvitam. So here is your practice. This week, whenever anxiety rises, pause and ask one question. What am I gripping right now? Name it in one word. Reputation, money, outcome, comfort. Then remind yourself, Bhayanvitam. Of course there is fear here. It was bundled with the attachment from the very first day. That one move changes anxiety from an alarm into information. It stops saying something is wrong and starts saying, here is an attachment, look. And each morning, try 1 minute as a trustee. Say quietly, this body, this work, this standing, on loan to me today. I will use them completely and I will defend none of them as me. That is Bhartrhari's renunciation, made small enough for daily life. Act with full energy. Hold with open hands. The 9 fortresses can remain standing. You simply stop living inside them. And then nothing can lay siege to you. Vairagyam eva abhayam. Detachment alone is fearlessness. Not because the world becomes safe, it never does, but because there is no longer a hook in you for fear to pull.
भोगे रोगभयं कुले च्युतिभयं वित्ते नृपालाद्भयं माने दैन्यभयं बले रिपुभयं रूपे जराया भयम् शास्त्रे वादभयं गुणे खलभयं काये कृतान्ताद्भयं सर्वं वस्तुभयान्वितं भुवि नृणां वैराग्यमेवाभयम्